Every day, the world consumes roughly 1,000 tons of Nutella. And the company behind Nutella buys roughly 1/3 of all the hazelnuts on the planet. A huge chunk of which goes into making this. Millions of people all over Europe and increasingly the world grow up eating, or should I say, worshipping Nutella. And I gotta admit, Nutella tastes kinda good. Or kinda addictive at least. I sure used to love this as a kid, but I've kind of always refused to believe that this is the best version of a chocolate and hazelnut spread. And since I definitely enjoy a good food challenge today, we're gonna make actually great Nutella from scratch. Which, believe it or not, is actually kind of easy. It only takes like 15 minutes. I think by now we've all figured out that on this channel, you come for the recipe, but you stay for the story. Follow me. Okay, hello, okay. All right, okay, I think we're looking good. I'll explain this whole thing in a second. So the story of what we have come to call Nutella these days actually starts in the early 19th century with a historical figure we normally don't really associate with chocolate spread, and that is Napoleon Bonaparte, the famous French statesman. Napoleon had some kind of beef with the British and decided to get into a trade war. Now back then, a big part of Italy was actually part of the French Empire. And so the trade war became a problem for the northern Italian city of Turin in a very specific way. Turin has actually always been known for its iconic cafes. The city was full of them, so you can bet your ass on it, their dessert and pastry game was fire. And one thing in particular was all the rage back then, and that was chocolate. I guess some things never change. And even though Turin was home to some of the world's very best chocolatiers, there was only one problem. Because what do you need to make chocolate? Right, cocoa. And who controlled most of the cocoa trade back then? Oh damn. So, with cocoa becoming a very hot and very pricey item, the chocolatiers had to get creative. Different attempts were made to mix other things with chocolate to extend it, but out of all the ideas, mixing chocolate with hazelnuts was the one that spread like wildfire. And that was actually genius. Turin just so happens to be located in the Piedmont region of Italy, which to this day famously grows some of the best hazelnuts in the world. So chefs in Turin basically had the really high-end stuff right in their backyards. They called their newly born chocolate and hazelnut paste gianduja, named after a character in Commedia dell'arte that was from the region, but the real hype was about something else back then. In fact, the most trending item those days was not gianduja but giandotti, little solid hazelnut chocolates resembling the shape of gianduja's hat. If you traveled to Turin now, you would most likely still be able to get some delicious giandotti in some of the city's historic cafes. However, there's a little bit of good news, because there's one old school brand that you might actually be able to find in specialty shops around the world if you're lucky. So, right over there is what I believe to be Berlin's best chocolate shop, and I want to see if we're fortunate enough to find some real gianduja or giandotti. Let's see if we get lucky. Okay, that was a huge success and almost too easy, because not only do I have the real deal giandotti right here in this bag, no, I also found the real gianduja paste made by the same company, and I would not even have expected that. So, since it's like 30+ degrees outside, before the stuff melts, let's quickly head back to the studio and see how good the original Nutella actually is. And so we have arrived at my favorite part of the video, which is of course tasting chocolate. So I have a few different giandotti here, but I think most